Tonight, Bill, can you?
You are listening to the Doug Stanhope Podcast.
All right, we're in Bisbee, Arizona, in the fun house in the football room with me, Andy Andrist. Junior Stopka's sitting in with Greg Chaille producing. Oh, you know what? I want Andy Andrist to do a drop. We've never had a drop.
You're listening to Doug Stanhope's podcast instead of doing what you should be doing.
One more time.
I'm Andy Andrist, and I'm... But...
Wait a beat before you start talking.
But once clean means I wait till you're done. Pause and I'm Andy Floopin Andrist. Okay, go ahead with what you were saying. I'm Andy Andrist. And I'm listening.
Now I'm turning Doug's mic on.
And I'm Andy Andrist, and I'm listening to Doug Stanhope tell me how to say I'm Andy Andrist, and I'm listening to Doug Stanhope's podcast. This is how you should say it, Andy Andrist. I'm listening. I'm listening to Doug Stanhope. No, you say, but that's what we're doing, and you should be doing what you should get a job and how about this? Get a job and listen to Doug Stanhope podcast while you're at work. You could leave the basement of your mom's house. Wouldn't kill you. Sorry, that's our sponsor, Mom's House.
This is part 2 with Andy Andrist. All right.
The potato peelings in the sink did not turn into vodka as I had hoped. I only start to need a drink after the liquor stores have closed. I heard you changed your name again. Don't you change your hair. It was the only thing I liked about you in the end. La la la.
You know what? This episode I wanted to change up the usual Mishka Shabali. Am I the only one drinking tonight, which we commonly open with, but I opened with that one because that is the best opening line of any song ever. The potato peelings in the sink did not turn into vodka as I had hoped. That's when I heard that song, and I fell in love with that guy immediately.
That's been playing the last 3 podcasts.
Oh, good. Oh, I don't know. I don't fucking listen to my own podcast. Who does that? You think Stern goes home and goes, wow, I can catch the repeat if I leave quick.
I'm always checking to make sure a podcast isn't going on around me.
Oh, shit. We have a cat in here. Don't let us forget to bring the cat out of here.
Hey, let's try Junior with his ID.
Here's Junior.
So you say you're Andy Andrist.
Okay.
And you're listening to Doug Stanhope podcast, and you're having a good time doing it.
Okay. All right, here we go. All right. Hey, this is Junior Stopka, your local alt comedian. I put the alt, and it's always my fault. Do you like mailing lists? Everyone does. Go out to DougStanhope.com and say, email him or face or Twitter him. Don't be a Google player hater. Mailing list that shit. We'll do shows for you and your family, or the other family that you have a problem with, but you can't say anything because some of them touched you, but you can't say that. Go on to DougStanhope.com/mailing list /email DougStanhope.com.
Your life may depend on it.
The potato peelings in the sink did not turn into vodka.
Fail, liver, fail. You hear me complain, I'm either dead or in jail. That's a Mishka, and he's playing, and Adrian Greener's playing drums. It's like a YouTube clip that filmed at Adrian Greener's basement, which is a recording studio. He was in Entourage. He was the main player. Yeah.
I don't know Adrian's.
And it's a really good song, and Mishka's got a chick backup. You should watch that. Yeah, it's his...
Adrian Greener's from Entourage. He's one of the
main guy.
Are you a hot shot? You can find it right now. Adrian Greener and Mishka.
We don't need to play that.
They'll
find it. They don't need to hear a shitty version over his fucking iPhone.
They're still trying to figure out why we brought up Robert Evans.
I don't know who that is.
Robert Evans?
Yeah, I just tried to nod and pretend like I knew who that was.
Well, he's Slash's buddy, for one, and he had way too many coughs, but I remember that.
Why are you not talking in the microphone?
Because he doesn't think we already said it's over.
Yeah, this podcast's over, but I remember that spiel of going, while people are waiting, everybody's like going, because, it's just blah, 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 my property, and enjoy my cheese or whatever, but it was this long, and then people just were kind of froze. Like
Robert Evans, enjoy my cheese. A self-help book and a reflection.
And
I thought it was some kind of alt singer that I didn't know about. Robert Evans.
Have you heard of The Godfather?
Yes.
He produced that, which usually means he just forked over money and then showed up like a big
He still makes
shot.
money. He still makes money on that.
I know,
Every
but I
time
don't know
it
what
runs.
a producer does. A producer in my world is a guy that forks over money, believes in your project.
He's still, while there was still like those old days where they would own a bunch of actors, the studio, he was the head of one of the studios, so they had like...
A radio producer actually fucking works. I think movie producers, and I have no idea. This has no...
That's what I'm doing.
I have no knowledge.
There's no actual facts involved.
None
in
whatsoever.
This description.
I just think that they fork over money and then complain when it goes over budget.
So no, Provenza's like I'm a movie producer, but he's been busy on it for a couple months, and I sent him a thing saying, so I'm a movie producer, so I'm just waiting for you to show up with a product, and then I steal credit for it. And he goes, yeah, you might want to get coked up and punch your wife. And I said, done. So I feel
that's how business works in our world.
Yeah.
Can you farm?
Yeah.
How much of the movie is completed?
I have no idea. He's like the guy who made the Unbookables with a vision.
Is it going to be like Bad Grandpa? Like what Doug said, there was like 3 good scenes and the rest is just you
I have no idea what he's...
going across the country.
I have no idea.
We got to find this guy. But wait a minute. I got a beach ball hit my head.
I have no idea.
On the way.
It could be that. At this point, I don't care.
We'll label this bonus track. I'm done.
I could totally slide this in. This will fit with the Robert Evans.
I wish I knew who that was again.
Well, he didn't have blow, but when you're
what was it, Gary Busey? I want to know.
When your
about
inner
Gary.
circle is Craig Kilborn with about 6 whacked out broads that you'd want to damage control out, and then OJ's attorney, and then Robert spieling the Doug, and even Slash was outside.
No, what was the Gary Busey one? Because
Well,
that you talked about that. I was like, that's probably the greatest story there that you
He
looked
just
crossing
menaced
over.
me all the way to the back of the line, and then, but I still feel
Wait,
that
you were jumping the buffet line, right?
But the Juggies could have been holding my spot in line too. In theory, I mean they said, yeah, come, and but I mean, at that point in my life, joining the line seemed like an okay thing to do. Somebody was holding your ticket, or they had the booze, or you had the, so you
Or
joined.
they had the tits.
But whatever it was, I didn't see what I was doing was wrong. But after Gary Busey got in my face, menaced me.
For cutting into a buffet line.
Well, here's the story.
In back of him.
He cut into a buffet line because he knew people that were with us. The
We're
Juggies.
also in line.
But it's a party where pretty much everyone knows someone in line. It's the same as if you cut in a line at Safeway in Bisbee. Just because I know that person, so let me get my card ahead. We all know everyone. Get the fuck.
Well, and I will say I mean,
the first time I agree with Gary Busey.
No, yeah.
What is wrong with you?
And I will say most times I would not be the person cutting in line, and I felt like it was okay. I took a moment's lapse there, but I was glad Gary Busey was deranged, 7 or 8 people in front of me, and felt like that was a good use of his time because I learned my lesson.
What did he say to you?
He just, it was like kind of his character in that Lethal Weapon movie where he was saying lots of stuff, but none of it made sense. But about crowding and getting back and all the way. And then I was like, all right. I kept moving back 10 feet and going, how about like right here? No, you know.
You're going to be a scalloped potato.
Well, then. Yeah.
You cut in front of me,
and
boy.
then when I was all the way in back, and then he might even held it so someone else joined the line, and then I had to get in back of them. And then he goes, "Okay, you that good?"
He monitored to the point to where he saw you slipped back in line.
We went back like 75 people, like the line.
So it wasn't just get behind him. It was like,
Fuck
I
no.
want you to be appropriate in your selection of joining this line, which means where they're starting to fantail in, right?
It was a life lesson. and because he seemed, I don't know, I mean, they say actors seem smaller. He seemed bigger and more menacing than what I thought he could have been too.
He's
I
not
mean,
standing on apple boxes.
He's-
He's
yeah.
every bit of Gary Busey.
And if he's acting crazy, he's a great actor. Because he seems just kind of crazy.
Andy, what was on that buffet line that you were so like intent on getting, or was it just to be with the juggies?
No, yeah, it was just I was standing over there, and I was kind of just
Before you tell your story, the juggies are the hot women on the man show.
well, some of them were
things.
tired old whores too, that were from the previous administration when we didn't understand the politics of it. But if you fucked the producer, then you had some say in things. And we didn't understand that. That's why there were a couple of holdovers. But I never really treated them like people because they really were just pushy cunts. Like
Andy,
you know.
I was at one of the tapings.
Yeah.
And I don't even know what to say you did on the
I was
Man
like
Show.
Radar O'Reilly on MASH.
No, Radar did things.
I did things.
No.
You weren't
no,
there
no,
Monday through Wednesday.
You're right.
So you
I
were
wasn't
more like
there.
after MASH, after everything went to shit.
You weren't there Monday through Tuesday afternoon.
Monday night through Tuesday 6 a.m. You're right. I wasn't there when
I-
all the real serious work went down. But when I was there, you showed me. You showed me where to get a real beer during production.
Oh, well, if I took you to the closet, then yeah.
No,
then-
he went to this. Like there was a ton of fake beer because that's what I guess they did on camera. And then you said,
Yeah.
come with me," and we went to like the props department.
Yeah, the props closet.
Some dude had like a couple of 6-packs of beer.
and Jaeger.
And as soon as you walked in, that guy handed you a beer.
Yeah, I was behind the scenes. But the props closet was where you'd want to be. That's where
Where they held the real beer and the fake beer.
yeah, like Doug and Joe were doing a pretend party up front, and in the props closet, sometimes the midget would be in there, but there'd be a couple of juggies. well, it's just in back of where the
I was looking for
audience-
vodka
On the
and then I
mic.
heard
It was
that.
just in back of where the audience was, and the hoople heads or whatever they would have to sit. They'd have to sit for.
Was that your dancers like in a living?
That's a
color?
Hollywood term for people that are in the audience. Clap factories.
One time I took a
Hoopleheads.
crowd. One time I took an audience picture of the man show, and it looked like a Special Olympics like cheer team. There was like 4 retards in a row, and they got big stretchy pants on, but they wait for their drinks.
Oh,
and
now
they
you
get like
fucked.
Yeah, they get like 2 beers over the course, and sometimes it's like 4 hours they have to sit there.
They watch a 30-minute show thinking, oh, we get to go there and drink for free. But no, they sit there for 4 hours and they get 2 warm beers over 4 hours.
Back up.
and they'll run 4 openings
Hold
sometimes.
on a second. Let's back up a little bit. So you're in a studio audience. You had a studio
Right.
audience there, and
Who we despised.
now,
Yeah.
where did they get the people from?
I
They
don't know.
would show up. They would there was a series of
Archie
people.
Bunker's place.
They showed up at
Pat
Warner
Marie.
They
Brothers.
didn't
and said-
show up, Andy.
They're bussed in because they're held captive. It's almost kidnapping.
Yeah.
Because they
but
can't leave.
I joined. I was out in line, and there were a mixture of tourists and some locals, And then,
no idea.
because we'd have to like sort through them for rubes for different skits, so you'd kind of get. The
Oh yeah, sometimes we because we're gonna do an audience participation.
Like The Price
thing.
is Right. There's
But
people
I don't think we did that. I know
I
didn't,
would wander
obviously.
around out there and sometimes
on his own, rogue.
Yeah. no one said, Andy, you're the guy to find them.
What about the guy
Well,
dribbling into his chest?
So the best part about the props thing, Doug would be up front, and everybody needed to be accounted for or whatever. The writers, not really, and then the music would start, which means the show started, and there'd be a couple juggies that weren't in the shot, and sometimes the midget. And then I'd be in the back with the props, and then you'd hear the hoople head stomping. The show is finally starting and all that. But then we'd do shots and beers, and that's what I really think of the man show. It was pretty fun that way, but the taping must have been
Yeah,
hellacious.
they put me on fake beer for a while because I had a couple episodes they thought I was a little too shitty drunk, and then I'd just have them. I'd override them and go, yeah, fuck that fake beer stuff. Get me real beer, no problem.
Wait a minute, you were cut off from your own show.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
What did
pretty
they
much.
serve you?
Fake beer and a man show beer thing,
But,
and then I'd
like,
make it real beer.
Who makes that decision that like
I
you've
don't
had too
know.
much
Probably
liquor?
Somebody told Steven props guy because it would Steven would override it if we'd want him to.
Was Rogan a beer drinker, by the way?
No, he'd be
Yeah,
he
he
would
drink beer, but he drinks beer like your dad does. I'd like to have a couple during the college
That
playoffs.
would be great if you did Ziggy Zaki with DMT.
Oh, so
Ziggy Zaki, where am I?
So this was great.
Death.
There was a guy that he was a weird dude, rowdy at a bar thing. It was called Drunken Crossfire, and they brought him into the show, and he was out of control, fat. His name was Fish, and he came in and he brought up that guy. He goes, "Hey, that Siggy Saki guy," but we'd poured him. He deserved it.
All right,
Let's
let me
just say
clean this story up. We did
Yeah,
one of the
yeah.
gags we did was at a bar towards the last call where we got 4 people with opinions and did drunk crossfire back when crossfire was on CNN.
Like a panel.
Yeah, panel. It was just, and then they actually stole that idea and tried to make a
I
show
know, yeah.
out of
He
it.
crossballs or
Yeah, something like that. So one of the guys that was very verbose as a drunk in a bar, they got some attention, so they brought him in to be a studio guest on one of our like best of wrap up. I don't know, but he came in as such an obnoxious asshole and trying to grab Juggy's tits. He's just
he
a
tried
fat
to
fucking loser.
plant fingers in Ralphie May's girl, who's probably used to big clumsy fingers, but it
So
was,
yeah, he was gonna drink a whole pitcher of beer on the show out of respect for the Ziggy Soggy guy.
but he was gonna do the Q&A, so he had and he wanted a whole pitcher of beer. So somehow the props guy ended up with the pitcher of beer. They were setting up the shot and the stools and everything. The pitcher of beer came over, and somebody tells me, because I had a run-in with him on the Drunken Crossfire, said piss in it. And I felt funny about it. I was new to the waterworks or the yellow arts,
The yellow arts.
but they're
got your
asking
yellow
me
belt there?
they're asking me to piss in the guy's symbolic beer, and I was
Symbolic in that he was going to drink this as a toast to the guy who died that did Ziggy Soggy.
we
You're
have
talking about Bill the Fox Foster.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're over there. The shot's getting ready to go, and then Ray, who's a hothead, who's always
First of all, let's just not use names.
Steve.
These guys still work.
yeah,
Jim,
yeah.
Joe.
Anyway,
Terry, Frank,
he saw I wasn't going to
Zippy.
piss in the container. He pours out about 5 inches of the beer, and then he hits it with. He's got a big dick too, so I should say his name because it's good advertising. But a big dick, like a fire hose level of urine, probably well hydrated, and he filled that beer to the top with piss, and it's foaming over, and then props guy stirs it, and it goes back to Fatty Fish, who's already drunk and menacing in between them, and then he does a spiel for the, hey, how about that Siggy Soggy guy, blah, 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 ahoy, hoy, hoy,
chugs half a pitcher of beer. Small pitcher, but pitcher nonetheless.
of urine, pouring down the side
Half
of his
urine,
face.
right? Half
Yeah, but
urine, it's
it
mixed
was
up.
it was like the biggest moment for me in TV.
Sal Volcano would have hurled.
I didn't get that excited about the tapings of the show because it was kind of slow and redundant. But when that big fatty who he was getting ready to drink that piss, and the studio audience was finally into a hoopla because they got their second beer or whatever, and I was chanting go because I was like, yeah, is he really gonna drink the piss? And then not only did he drink it, then he drank it, and then it just flowed down both sides of his face. And then he sat there like, but I'm sure he's had piss in his mouth before. But here's the great thing. At the end of it, he's getting back in the town car that brought him out. And they go, can we take your picture? So it was like 6 inches of still piss beer. And he goes, no. He grabbed it back and said, I want my man show beer. So he drove another 40 minutes back to his shithead town and drank our piss all the way out there.
And you thought just watching the show sucked.
Yeah, they never
But
showed.
what is that? You know what? You asked Sal and Quinn about what sketches that didn't get on air. Maybe you can say something about the sketches.
We've done that
Oh, you
so
did
many
that?
times
Too
on
many?
the Rogan podcast.
Well, the
every
one
interview.
we always wanted to do was I thought it'd be cool to do like an emergency delivery of alcohol to the homeless. Because, they're thirsty and whatnot, and why should they have to beg for it? And then that was the whole thing we wanted to do, but we couldn't do it.
That's the
They're
one
like,
we
yeah.
always talk about on every interview. But maybe we'll get a show one day and do that.
here's one I wanted to do is it was a confessional. It was kind of, they've done it for beer ads, like a lot of things. That's like, but like you'd fuck over your friend, like you tried to fuck his girlfriend. And so you'd confess it. But you'd confess it in front of a glory hole. So it was like glory hole confessional. So you'd just see a guy's lips moving, going, I can't believe what I did to Dale. This chick made dinner and everything was going good. We had a bottle of wine. Then they tried to fuck her or whatever. And then you would punish him through the glory hole. And the man show table or whatever. And I wasn't adamant very often, but I said that. And everybody liked it, and they had a chuckle. And then they started modifying it for TV, and then by the time it came around, it was no longer even my idea, and it was a Catholic church confessional.
You got to remember, this is 2003, 2004 was just. It was just a couple of years before cable went completely tits out with Always Sunny in Philadelphia doing glory hole shit.
Yeah, so it came back around as the Catholic Church confessional, and I was like, no, glory hole confessional. It's only funny if you're through. You can call it whatever you call it, but it's a guy talking through a urinal hole. And then it was something else, and that's when I'd wander and go. I'd smoked a lot of weed. Just going, fuck it, all right, half idea. There were a few little flare-ups.
It was your idea to have me fight Tanya Harding, who had just gone like infamy to infamy. She was going into professional boxing.
Did we have the anniversary of that this year? Like 20 years or something?
They're over the clubbing.
No, with the clubbing,
the
Winter
Kerrigan
Olympics
thing.
Yeah.
Maybe. But Andy came up with that idea, and she
I wanted to do it for a halftime replacement show.
She didn't want. She agreed to do it. Then showed up, said, "I won't actually fight. It has to be staged. I can't beat a man." And the idea was that I'm a fucking aged, out of shape, fucking.
We totally had
smoker.
to. Doug had to gain weight for the part.
She was anyway. The point. This is what I'm segueing to. She wouldn't sign the boxing gloves that I boxed her with, because these are just going to end up on eBay, and I don't sign things because they'll just end up on eBay.
No, that's why you sign things. So
yeah,
they're
so she wouldn't sign them. So when Jake LaMotta came the first time he came, I got Jake LaMotta to sign the Tanya Harding
gloves,
boxing gloves that are still sitting in there. Again, something I should have hidden. I hope they're still there after the Super Bowl.
They are, yeah.
That's
and
way
now
more valuable.
And I was considering selling them on eBay, my eBay D-Horde yard sale, just to fuck with Tanya Harding.
The best moment I got from that, because I had a run-in with Tanya in Portland where
Never
I was
went
just
down, Tanya.
yeah, where she was
Never
real
went down.
cunty, and then I had to apologize to the club or whatever. So when she was boxing, then I was
Apologize to the club. What are you
well
talking
at Harvey's. Like Tanya's upset with you for whatever I'd said.
What's the connection to Harvey's with Tanya Harding?
Well, I didn't like
You
her.
miss a lot of your parts of the story.
Anyway, Tanya
You're
was
worse than I am.
She was cunty to me in Portland, so I carried that with me. So when Doug, we were sitting there and we were reading about her boxing, I asked Doug, I go, would you punch that Tanya Harding bitch? And he goes, yeah, I'd fight her. And so that's how that all happened. And I wanted it to be real, and I wanted it to not be TV at all.
Yeah, no, it was fake.
And I
as
wanted
shit.
Doug, see, here was the plan how it was going to be beautiful. Because a man doesn't just punch a woman unless he mouths off or you're in a limo and there's no cameras. Whatever. A man's got to do what
Or
a man
she says
gotta,
the phrase, "What a
Yeah.
beautiful morning."
Well, maybe that makes you a jerk, but I'm not every man's, judging. I'm not judging.
You're not judging other people.
I'm not Judge Wapner, but
I think we'll make this a two-parter, and it'll start with Doug Jr. and Andy sober, and then part 2 drunk. Yes, the Doug Stanhope virtual eBay yard sale. De-hoarding my house. All this shit that I have that drags me down, that I hold on to for sentimental reasons or just basic hoarder reasons. Posters and shit. Well, someone will want it. Maybe you do. I don't know. I'm putting this shit on eBay and selling it. All these vintage sport jackets and pants. If you're a size 32 waist and a size 40 jacket, man, are you in luck. All we do on the road, our only interest, other than drinking and driving the fuck out of there and finding a breakfast taco, is thrift storing. So we thrift store and we find any ridiculous Anchorman, Caddyshack, vintage, dumb Slapshot has the best vintage suits in them. The original Slapshot, not that dumb remake. Yeah, but I have overloaded closets with all these stupid outfits that you see me wear. So now I'm just going to have a virtual eBay yard sale. I have old tapes, memorabilia, shit I don't want in my goddamn crawl space. I'll probably jam free shit in whatever you win on eBay. Check DougStanhope.com for a link, because I don't know how eBay works. But you are going to put someone here in Bisbee in business. We'll probably throw a small chunk of that towards some ridiculous charity. You want a fucking poster? Because I know my family won't. 45 posters from the Shittown comedy tour that are leftovers. You want them? They're on eBay. I'll sign your shit. I'll rub my balls on it. Get this shit out of my crawl space. The Doug Stanhope virtual eBay yard sale. Oh, it's coming up just before we kick off this March 25th road tour.
how about this with a little more seltzer water?
Don't worry.
part
We got a
3?
girl over here to make drinks. That's why we have her. The only one who has a job here.
Oh, but so I wanted Doug to keep, because Doug wasn't, he was more flabbier, less, and I honestly thought maybe Tanya was taking it more for real. But she was a scared, she just used to punching Paula Jones in the back of the head and a few over.
Andy, I was at that taping. That was the one time I went to the Man Show.
Oh, yeah.
And
she looked menacing.
She refused to get out of the dressing room, right? But there was a little bit of a hey, this is Doug, Tanya, and
you
whatever.
know now what she was doing.
Well, I don't know, but I don't know that we need to talk about it. But she refused
yeah.
to get out of the dressing room to even come to taping. They called her to come out to get ready to go, and she would not show up
Because she was smoking crack cocaine.
Well, that's
Allegedly.
no.
that will be
No.
edited.
Wow,
But-
it must have been, again,
Wait.
as I said with bingo, it must have been crack cut with fucking bacon fat, because she was
I
not.
know, huh?
Here we go. Positive point, Tanya Harding. First woman in the Olympics
Triple
to do
axel.
it. Yeah, that's right. Triple axel.
The first Olympics that Tanya was in, she was younger and she had no damage with her.
First person to make the Olympics interesting after the collapse of the communism.
Yes, Soviet Union collapse.
But
yes.
she could land the triple axel. but she wasn't landing it well in practice.
I really
So-
felt bad for her when she showed up, and all the writers were like, just fucking go for it and knock her out anyway.
No, but I wanted her to beat Doug for the whole time except for the last 30 seconds. And then to go, Stanhope, because she was known as a man beater, and you would have taken a beating. Cause I really wanted blood and the whole
She
fucking works.
puked in her corner.
Yeah, she was not in shape.
The girl I was with at the time, Renee.
1 minute rounds. They weren't even real rounds.
No, they were. Are you fucking kidding? Because there was no action. They kept making these 1 minute rounds, 4 minute rounds, hoping to get like, stretch like this podcast.
That's a long
Hey,
round.
we could edit it down. Well, not when I'm fucking dying. My mother is my corner person, and she's giving me beer and cigarettes in the corner, letting me smoke because I can't hold a cigarette with a boxing
you're
glove.
bugging. You're
But she was literally vomiting in her
Tanya
corner.
Harding, not your mom.
No, my wife is her corner person, Renee, and she was puking. She pissed herself at one point and told Renee she'd pissed herself. But they kept stretching these rounds and just even like fake boxing. Once I hit her a little bit and I said, "Are you okay?" and she said, "No." Like,
Fake boxing, by the way,
Yeah.
is almost the same as real boxing.
Meaning body
when you
shots?
are the participant, correct?
Wind-wise, yeah.
Yes,
oh,
absolutely.
my
And that's all that matters.
Fucking dying, and I could have knocked her out quick. Chad Shank says that now. He's like, I fucking use elbows, man. But they better go down quick because I don't have any fucking wind left.
Neither of them I would pair up against like Horseshack.
Was there a pre-meeting during the Tanya Harding thing that you couldn't hit her in the face or breasts or?
No.
It
We
was an
thought
introduction, is what it
we
was.
thought when it's on. Okay, she agreed to do it, and she's made some small page news for she's going into boxing. So she's coming. We think
Danny
it's going to be a real,
Bonaducci style boxing. This is celebrity.
but we thought it was going to be a
Yeah.
real fight, and that's what I planned for. I didn't train, but I planned that it was a real
Certainly
fight.
not.
And she showed up. I'm like, no, I'm not going to fight for real. You're a man. I'm not going to fight a man. And her boyfriend/manager at the time, who was also the referee in the ring, was this giant black dude who looked like the guy from the Green Mile.
He died.
Michael Duncan Clark.
He's done. He's done.
Well, he seemed more like a pimp than a boyfriend, but he was in charge.
Well,
of
he
her
was.
boxing
If she's doing the
decision.
man show.
Cannot dance with
Like
your
the old
opponent.
joke, why are you fucking my wife? I have to, but you?
He also imposed himself as the referee of the fight. So
Yeah, no, I think it would have been a problem if I actually did go to town.
So
But-
what was it? What was the middle part? I forgot. It was She thought it was a real fight, and then they told you what?
No, we thought it was going to be a real
Yeah.
fight, and she said, no, I won't. Actually, she thought it was going to be a comedy thing. And no, that's the comedy is that you're an Olympic trained athlete that's going into professional boxing, and I'm a wheezing fucking fat pig,
Drunkard who's drinking,
doesn't-
smoking on the
doesn't-
breaks
yeah.
and drinking beer.
and
Yeah.
I couldn't fucking throw a punch to So we thought that would be actually
You could get it by looking at
an
who's
even
in the ring.
fight.
I guess nobody was aware of that it was just going to be a complete fix, and so I ran a sports book on it. Remember that? I got a bunch of money from everybody, like props and everybody, and I made several.
You did a side thing.
Yeah, I made several $100 on a fixed fight, and then until we took off for Vegas.
But the fix wasn't in on this thing.
It was, yeah, because there
What?
was
I
not
couldn't
gonna
hit
be-
her.
He couldn't
I
hit
mean,
her.
I could pretend to hit her, and when I hit her, actually, it felt like an actual connection.
But you were trying.
Are you okay?
Because
No, I couldn't.
But you saw her when she showed up. She was very athletic looking and square, and so everybody
Yeah,
thought
No, I
Square
wouldn't want
around
to
her
fight her.
pants.
I wouldn't want to fight her.
everybody thought she was going to kick Doug's ass in the second round.
Well, clearly, that's why I bet that much money.
But she was throwing up between rounds 1 and 2. So
She
yeah.
was terrified. I really felt bad for her as a human being. Like, she was so skittish, like a dog in a Sarah McLaughlin commercial. a fucking terrified, like
Big doe
just
eyes.
knowing like that I'm just gonna
The end
get
is
fucked
near.
with, at every angle because ever since the scandal, all they do is she's just a fucking mockery magnet.
The best thing I got of that was the argument I had with Tanya years ago in Portland. I wanted a picture with her, and she was snotty, and then I just said, well, fuck you. I saw you in Penthouse.
Was she technically a juggie that night? Or?
No, yeah, but I took a picture of her with juggies. It was great. It was like
amazing.
It's like hee haw.
And it's her and 3 juggies, and she's horrific to look at. Like she looked horrific.
There's
people that you see that everyone has their own brand of ugly that just makes you mad.
Like personally?
Yeah. I have the face of someone I fucking hate in other people. Like there's different looks. There's God, I wish I could come up with.
It'd be like
just look at
it'd
me.
be like, but it's like
funny ugly. I want to be funny ugly.
The pictures like if you took
Finugly.
Finugly? I'll go with Finugly.
if you took like 3 Victoria's Secret models and then stood them with a woman of like a 40-year-old woman with Down syndrome. That's what the picture is, just such a contrast, and
She looks like my brother.
Who, Tanya?
Tanya Harding.
With a blonde wig.
Well, that
Pretty
pasty
mustache.
skin and the kind of awkward bloats.
He could show with a blonde wig. He could show up to personal appearances.
Yes, but he doesn't make me mad ugly. Seth Green, is that his name? Seth.
I was
I'm trying to think of people that just make me
Austin
mad.
Powers.
Jamie Kennedy just makes me mad.
Yeah. How does that?
I'm trying to find
I'm
a
trying to figure out-
current reference.
To what?
Fucking spiky-haired tips.
No, it's just someone that makes
Frosted
you know
tips.
they're a cunt in real life just by the way they look.
And that's all you came up with is Seth Green and
I'm
Jamie
trying to
Kennedy.
remember. Well, I don't remember stuff anymore. Till I see them, I go, I hate you, but I will never remember till I see you again.
You don't see those people.
On the television, I have the television.
The telly stands there and mocks him.
Not Andy Samberg. It's someone like him.
Seth Meyers?
There's that Jewy guy with the
Unibrow.
Unibrow. Well, there is a Jewy look. That
Hitler-
clammy. I could
Sorry.
stick a nickel to your forehead kind of look.
Hitler did a lot of things wrong, but he did run a pretty good Olympics. Did he? I don't know. Did his Olympics go off without a hit?
Tight camp.
I bet his Olympics were, without a terrorist event.
Except for the one he created
Well,
himself.
sure, he was
that one.
orchestrating.
You know, a lot of people talk shit about Hitler. There was not a lot of knockout games during that era.
Gary Busey would throw you off this podcast right now.
Oh, good goodness. I trust that people will understand Andy.
Oh my God, I thought it was going to be me.
Oh, no, you're succinct. They won't understand what you mean, but they'll understand what you say.
I'm good at-
Andy, they're like, what
I
did
get to a talking point, it just comes out of the middle.
you ever slap a roll of toilet paper so it flaps the whole roll out? That's what Andy talks like when you're drunk. You.
Hey, let's talk about Junior. He just did HBO.
Oh, he did.
Right?
Junior.
I don't
What's
even
the
know-
name of the show on Comedy Central, Junior? Your first
There's no name for it. And they didn't even tell me what day I would perform. But that's why I thought I was going to get cut. So I didn't tell anybody about it.
That's something I tell. Never tell someone you're going to be on TV till you see it in the fucking.
That's
Sure.
No, exactly. It was like, you're going to have a party? I go, I don't even know if it's going to be on the damn air yet, And
Yeah.
sorry for the word damn.
Easy with the
Yeah,
language.
we'll
you.
bleep that.
I don't even know how you found Junior, but Junior's been on tour with you off and on for the last 2 years.
And,
More-
and
a little
in
more than that.
Chicago before that, and a year before that, we did a few dates. But when we played the Lakeshore Theater in Chicago with Ritter,
Oh my God, that's
Not when
more
I
than
was
2
there,
years.
right? I don't
not
know.
when you were there, because when I used to bring the Unbookables,
Because that was horrible.
we'd get a little too self-indulgent. So he said no on the Unbookables. I got a guy you're really gonna like locally. So yeah, not John Ritter.
Junior.
Says Ritter.
Captain Ritter.
Ritter.
Captain Ritter.
Ritter is all you need to know. he put us together. He's like, I got a local guy, and you'll love him. And I fucking fell in love with him, and yeah, and we've been together every since. Yeah, there we go.
Ever since.
So how you got the Dave Attell thing?
Yeah.
I know he saw you. He loved you. And he
Wasn't that in? Were we in Dallas or Austin?
We crashed his show.
We crashed the show.
But that Junior wasn't part of that.
Oh, how did he see?
Probably saw at when we played BB King's. Were you?
BB King,
Yeah.
I was there.
Yeah. He came to the BB King show.
all right.
In New York.
But I was also in Houston where he thought I was gonna be one of those comics who were like, hey, I'm Chad, what's his fat guy with the girlfriend, but he thought I was gonna be like one of those new comics with the fucking, hey, where'd you start comedy? And I was just like, I don't give a shit. I just want to hang out. But he was so super nice, and he's the quickest motherfucker I've ever seen in my life. That when I went to the main stage in Chicago, he brought me up on stage, which was very nice, and I just went over there to see him because I love him to death.
Attell has a habit of bringing you on stage. If you just go to see him, like, come on up and we'll do improv and talk and chat. And then he's funny, and you're just standing there with a drink and go, I don't know what to say back to you.
Yeah.
So,
I got
but
that.
he had a show. He called me about it and said, hey, listen, Comedy Central, they're doing a show and they want you to do it. And I told him there's no way you do it. But I didn't know it was his show. I'd do Attell's fucking show for sure. I thought they were just using him as a conduit to like try to get comics on the show. And he's saying, they're not going to burn time they could use for this money. But it was his show, and he put Junior on it. Junior, and I always say my only advice is to never take advice because people will just tell you how to be like him. But I gave Junior advice. I go, you fucking send me this. Okay, do that bit.
I did fucking email Doug, and he sent me a script, and I go, uh-oh. I got to
Did you do it? Did you?
Yeah, I did it.
You gave me advice for something. It was like I was kind of stressing on. I think it was just the Chicago Comedy Festival, and you go, you're not going to be the next David Schwimmer, so just have fun. That hurt.
No, but you know what? Can I say thank you to all my friends here? I know this is kind of a faggy moment here.
Yep. Don't worry, we're all drunk.
Hey,
everyone's already stopped.
This
listening.
moment is sponsored by Errant Glory Hole Sex.
I only listen to podcasts when we're on the road during the day, killing time driving between gigs. I don't listen to shit at home. But if I were listening to this podcast during the day, I would have just stopped at a bar and just started drinking and missed the gig because that's all this podcast can lead
This
you
is
to.
an intervention day.
So, but you killed. We got calls from people that were there going, fucking Tom Rhodes called, fucking Sea Bubbles called.
For podcasts?
No, when he did that Attell show, he fucking destroyed. Junior destroyed his first.
Tom was
TV.
on a previous show that same night. They were taping a bunch of shows. Wasn't he in the audience? I mean, or backstage?
Who? I have
Tom
no
Rhodes.
idea.
Tom Rhodes. Tom Rhodes. I think Doug. I'm pretty sure Doug got Tom Rhodes to me to be my chaperone.
Yes, I said take care of Junior.
Okay.
He's not really good at this shit.
Tom Rhodes was there, and he Facebooked how he killed. It was good.
Well, yeah, he texted me, I did call him because he's one of the few drinkers left out there. And
Who, Attell?
no, Rhodes.
Rhodes.
Oh,
Yeah, Rhodes and Ron White are the only two that ever come to mind of like the guys that are big league guys that haven't fucking cashed in and AA'd out.
And
Yeah.
I can't stand that. That's my one pet peeve. There's no more. Everybody's sober. Everybody's like, I gotta quit. You know what? If you do, good for you. But fuck you. I'm still smoking and drinking, and I need some.
So yeah, I told Rhodes keep an eye. He said he's doing the show, and I said keep an eye on Junior Stopka because he's a fucking drinker and he needs a buddy. And I knew you were gonna panic and be terrified. Just when you did the fucking Andy did the Jim Norton thing.
Was that the HBO?
Yeah.
Yeah, Down and Dirty with Jim Norton.
How'd that go?
The set I did, I thought went okay compared to what was going on.
Were you drinking?
No, I
That
didn't.
might.
I
You
didn't
always wonder if it's
It was
when you
a
have
terrible
a shitty show.
It was a terrible, stressful situation because of what the people from out of town, and there was a lot of New York comics who were just waved through. The people from out of town went and did a hurried set downtown, and then they go, we can't use that, and so they took out like half of what I had.
Wait.
So
But
I-
Andy, you're gonna keep in mind, Andy doesn't really know what the fuck he's gonna say when he's saying it.
But before he did that, he refused to rehearse any, like to go over material or
He's
to
not
like.
that guy.
I know
But-
he's not that guy. I'm just saying that.
But if I would have rehearsed, then I just would have had more problem bailing on the two that they took away because I knew what I was going to do. That's what they'd seen. And then they go, well, now we can't use it because we're going to have that. They were looking at it from a production standpoint going, I looked at Rouse gave me good advice. He goes, just put the rape bit at the end. That way, if they don't want it, they can drop it. And he was right. Ultimately, that's what I did. Is I had the rape bit at the end.
And then how did it go?
Well, the guy who was in charge of HBO and greenlighting that show was the one in charge of all the good shows, and he happened to punch his wife at the De La Hoya fights, and he got fired. And then the new guy was responsible for all the military shows. And I started off with an amputee military joke.
That's not it. Andy.
But anyway-
Stop. That's a silly excuse.
Let him continue.
that's what
this.
No. I
That-
won't let him continue because I'm his friend and I know where this goes.
But
There's no
nonetheless-
military
Andy-
connection.
Andy, this is an intervention. Now you need to be quiet while Doug tells you how much he loves you.
I've never seen the set, but I've seen your sets a lot, and they probably weren't going to do what Dan Schlissel did and just edit.
piece it.
Yes.
Well, in the process I went through with them, but they also told us they were eliminating a couple of people but it's just
I don't think anyone would be better at podcasting than if Andy did a fucking.
I don't think I thought the set went pretty well though.
I think you'd be great with just you talking into a microphone for an hour.
Listen,
I do
am.
that at home and nobody.
It's
listens.
a Mr. Microphone, and it yells at his dog.
Hey, good looking.
I'm not a comic, but I'm out in the audience quite a bit for many years. Andy, I fucking love you. You were so funny, but the thing you do that I'm sure you did on HBO was you cupped the mic, which turns into this thing where you're talking like this.
We have two great podcasts with you. One with just us, and one with me and you and Provenza. Or maybe
The Provenza one.
Provenza was on
that-
both.
Yeah. It was both of them, and we had
But,
to.
there was
a
other
third
t-
of it is undecipherable.
There was some of that. Others were
And
technical.
Andy, I've run open mics up in Anchorage for 2 years against my will and watching these guys. And the one thing I tell them is when you touch a microphone and you change the dynamics of an SM58, the Shure microphone that is standard everywhere, when you touch that
corporate
microphone,
shill.
when
I
you
know,
touch
that's
that,
just all political jargon.
sponsored by Shure microphone, the SM58, it's the best
Jeez,
microphone, $99 everywhere, Guitar Center. When you touch that thing, you change it, and I've told you numerous times, lightly.
It's too late.
I know
it's
it is,
too late.
but I tell other comics the whole reason you have a microphone is because you want to be heard. And when you grab the microphone like this, you change the dynamics of what you're doing, and it really affects the performance.
But you're so fucking brilliant. It's just that if you're brilliant and you turn your back on the audience and don't have a microphone in your hand, they don't give a shit.
People are so fickle.
My point exactly. He wasn't touching the microphone.
Was that clear?
Yeah,
That's you.
In
That's
my
on-
entire life, Matt Becker and Andy Andrist are the funniest people I've known. Just to hang around all the time, and people will leave a party and go, "Who was that one guy that was doing that thing?"
No.
It's not an act. Those are just those are people.
But
that are
they ask
fucking
about
mad.
me, Becker. They remember. They go, "Who's the other guy? The hoodie? He slipped away."
Well,
before-
Becker,
He mumbled, and the mic didn't make sense.
Who's that guy in the Haymarket Squares hat at DougStanhope.com?
Yeah.
Andy's gonna be fucking great when he's 50, like Eddie Pepitone. I think so.
It's coming up. It's coming up quick.
No, I think Andy's going to be that. I can't remember the name of the documentary.
Blackfish.
Man.
There's actually 3. There's Devil and Daniel Johnston, but there's two other musicians that went fucking insane, and the one guy that had to put on
guy
like,
from,
Rodriguez.
The guy from Pink Floyd.
Oh.
No. These are known as well as Daniel Johnston or less, but the one guy that went insane and
Daniel Johnston.
No, I already. The only way he could sleep was turning on like 5 different TVs to white noise and then radios. He had to have a cacophony of white noise to drown out the fucking shit going on in his head. Some caller, email me with that.
You're the one who has to have the TV set to big band era music loud.
Kills the silence. People that show up, party crashers that are not invited. It's not an open thing. People will. A few people have shown up because I give out my address.
Maybe Hunter Thompson just got tired of people dropping in.
But the thing is, what people don't understand about us is at this hour, we're a bit lively. But when we wake up, it's fucking us dead silent, corpse-like, staring at each other. And you put on a little big band swing music.
Who's going to clean up this mess?
Derek. Hey, this podcast is sponsored by Reverend Derek. He takes care of all the shit around here and gets no respect. And I keep it that way because I don't want him getting too big for his britches.
Well, getting in a car accident and having brain damage keeps a guy in check.
There's a lot of fake brain damage there.
He always looks
what? The perfect point, ETC. When I was doing my celebrity death pool, like I was doing my research, that's all the helmet-to-helmet contact.
ETC?
Yeah. I'm like, ETC, I found a Wikipedia page for all these old NFL players who have fucking brain damage and shit and gonna kill themselves, Dave Duerson style, Chicago Bears 85.
The greatest team of all time.
So I get a list of that, and I went.
The Suicide
I said
Shuffle. Conk.
Yeah, Derek. Derek
the
is there, and I'm like, yeah, the fucking ETC or ECT. He goes, and he spilled out the whole word.
He gave you the whole.
He
the whole
fakes
thing.
brain damage a lot to fucking slide. He's a pretend retard. He's smarter than he plays on, but good scam. All right, let's wrap this up. Jesus.
I want to know about Juggy feuds.
What do you mean Juggy feuds? There wasn't Juggy feuds.
There was
Doug
a
had
Juggy feud.
Yeah, there was feuds between us and the Juggies because
Doug had one where it was one of the old school Juggies, and she was trying to make
The previous
nice.
show.
Yeah, from the previous shows, and she goes, "Come on, Doug, there is no I in team," and you said, "Yeah, but there's a."
You and cunt is. I stole that from Matt Becker.
But yeah, no, on a street corner while we were filming, she saddles up to Doug and me on a street corner, and she says, "Come on, there's no I in team." And then Doug said that, and then she went back and talked to the producer.
Hush, hush, communique.
That was Juggy. What was that Juggy?
I don't know. The blonde one.
No one knows.
But
Who
she
cares?
really did belong to Adam and Jimmy. It was like somebody didn't clean out their locker. And there's like a filthy jock strap. It's not really yours, but nobody gets rid of it, and then it just stays there.
It's still good. What are
Yeah.
you doing?
But we had some fresh new jock
I want to hear
straps.
about crazy Juggies.
We didn't really associate with.
They only came in once in a while. The ones that would come, yeah, they only came in for taping, but the ones that I thought was interesting is they were the girls who did the trampoline, and we'd get them for $100. And I went there for auditions one day, and it was a small trampoline set up, and they all
Like
had
an exercise trampoline.
yeah,
The
like a
little-
ridiculously small one, and I called for that. I wasn't even supposed to be there, but they all
Clearly, you weren't supposed to be
and
there.
they all had heels, and they were chicks. Like you may not even be abusive, but you would probably punch him once in a while. Just dumb, weird.
They wore high heels to a trampoline audition.
Yes, exactly. And they
so unprofessional.
Yeah, no, and they would say this, and then the rest of the people at the audition, they just let me talk because they didn't, it was a lady, the one of the casting lady, and so I was the lead there. All of a sudden, I infiltrated it, and I'm in the lead.
You were running the audition.
Yeah, for the
now that is a reality series.
Did you ever?
So here was the line I would say. They would go, "Do you want me to jump on the trampoline?" And I'd go, "Sure, that's cool. Let's see some of that." And they had the heels on, all of them. And they say, "Do you want me to hit the heels or use the heels on the trampoline?" And I would say, Can you jump on the trampoline with those without breaking your neck?" And they would giggle and say, "No." And I'd say, "Well, take the heels off then."
At Andy Andrist, at Junior Stopka on Twitter. Booked them. You have a bar? Booked them.
Don't be dicks.
Because they don't fucking do anything to try to get booked.
They don't seem that ambitious. I'm surprised
They're
they
terrified of rejection.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah.
No, I saddle up with rejection. Sometimes.
Oh, you just assume rejection and then accept it, even though you'd never asked.
No,
So-
you're right.
But yeah, they'll come out and play your joint.
Would you buy me a sandwich? Junior,
Cat
let's do a
jumped on me.
segment for my podcast on manscaping.
This
Man showscaping, I call it.
No, man show scapegoating.
Hey, quick break. This podcast brought to you by Josiah Osego, Tucson comedian that admitted to bringing that shithead to my party. And him and Ali, another Tucson comic. You two are great guys, and thanks for coming.
I'll tell you something about Tanya Harding. I got very hard while I watched her box. If you know, DougStanhope.com. I love y'all.
And there's 2 new Jesus movies coming out. One about Noah's Ark. Has Russell Crowe. Pray about it.
That's how bad it got. This podcast was sponsored by Jesus.
Bring your congregation.
All right, I'm done. I have to pack and I have to go on the goddamn road. Good night. And that was Andy Andrist. The next podcast is just going to be me. I'm going to go crawl into my house and try to rehab on my own terms, my own meaning of the term. I am going to try to quit smoking. And so who knows? Maybe I won't be able to talk. Maybe I'll fail. Maybe I'll kill. Who knows? Tune in. Is that a cliffhanger? Oh, I hope he doesn't smoke cigarettes anymore. What do you guys think? Chat rooms becoming engulfed with will he quit or not? How long will he make it? Oh, Doug. I know it's selfish to say, but he looks so sexy with his cigarette. I kind of hope he doesn't quit. That's it. I'm hitting the road. Play the Matoid.
Party time.
You've been listening to the Doug Stanhope Podcast, recorded live in the Funhouse, Bisbee, Arizona, with Doug Stanhope, Andy Andrist, Junior Stopka, and Greg Chaille. Engineered and produced by me, Greg Chaille. Opening song by Mishka Shubale, Party Time by the Mad Toy. Both available on iTunes. This podcast sponsored by the upcoming Doug Stanhope eBay yard sale. Join the mailing list at DougStanhope.com for all the info and first chance to bid. Find out about all of Doug's upcoming tour dates by joining the mailing list at DougStanhope.com. Thanks for listening.
Smile your smiles and blue your blues. It's party time. There. Dance your dance and shoe your shoes. It's party time. Howl your howls and sock your socks. It's party time. Yeah. Oh baby, grab your craps and fuck your fox. It's party time. Grab your craps and fuck your fox. It's party time. Everybody. Party time, yeah. Party time.
Did you have something else you want to do, Doug?
No, I don't even want to do this.